My name is Vera Westbrook. I'm 28 years old. 7 days before my wedding, I found out my own mother had canceled every single vendor, the flowers, the catering, the venue, and told my fiancé that I was damaged goods and he was making the biggest mistake of his life. On our wedding day, 200 guests arrived to an empty lot. But my maid of honor had seen this coming 6 months ago. What she planned, and what my mother walked into, changed everything. Let me take you back to 8 months ago, the night Nathan got down on one knee in our kitchen, and the phone call from my mother that came 11 minutes later. Nathan proposes on a Tuesday evening. No fancy restaurant, no ring hidden in dessert. He just stands in our tiny kitchen in Ridge Hill, Georgia, holding a ring he saved 7 months for, and says, "I don't have a speech. I just know I want every morning to start with you." I say yes before he finishes the sentence. We sit on the kitchen floor afterward, my back against the cabinets, his arm around my shoulder, and I keep turning my hand under the light, watching the small diamond catch it. For 11 minutes, the world is exactly right. Then my phone rings. Mom. I pick up, still smiling. "But Nathan, just where are you having it?" No congratulations, no gasp, no, "Oh, honey." "The wedding," she says. "Where's the venue? I need to know now. I'll handle the calls." I should explain something. My whole life, every decision I've ever made has passed through my mother first. Which college? Which major? Which apartment? When my father died, I was 19. She pulled me close at the funeral and whispered, "It's just us now. You're all I have." And from that day, saying no to her felt like abandoning a widow. So when I tell her we want to plan it ourselves, she goes quiet. 4 seconds. I count them. "Fine," she says. "I understand. You don't need me anymore." My chest tightens. The old guilt, the one she installed like software when I was a child, boots up instantly. "No, Mom, of course I need you. I want you to help." I hear her exhale, satisfied. Nathan watches me from across the kitchen. He doesn't say anything, but his jaw shifts just slightly, the way it does when he's holding something back. I didn't know it then, but that phone call was the first move in a game my mother had been waiting to play. 3 months after the engagement, my mother has taken over everything. It happens gradually, the way water rises in a basement. By the time you notice, it's already at your ankles. First, she offers to make a few calls to vendors because I'm busy teaching 3rd grade. Then she starts showing up to tastings without telling me. Then she changes my contact information on the florist's account to her own number. I wanted wildflowers. Sunflowers, lavender, baby's breath, loose and messy and alive. My mother orders white roses. "For elegance, you'll thank me." I wanted BBQ, pulled pork, cornbread. "Can't serve barbecue at a wedding, Vera. People will talk." I wanted the seating chart to put Nathan's family up front. She rearranges it so her friends fill the first 4 rows. When I push back, gently, the only way I know how, she cries right there in our living room, dabbing her eyes with a tissue she already had in her hand. "I'm just trying to make this beautiful for you. Your father would have wanted it this way." And I fold every time. Nathan starts spending longer hours in his workshop. He doesn't complain, but I catch him standing at his workbench sometimes, not building anything, just staring at the wall. One evening, Rachel, my maid of honor, my best friend since 8th grade, comes over for rehearsal dinner planning. She watches my mother rearrange the centerpiece samples without saying a word. But later at the door, she grabs my arm. "I need you to trust me on something. Don't ask questions yet." I laugh nervously. "What do you mean?" She just squeezes my hand and leaves. 2 months before the wedding, my mother invites Nathan to lunch, just the 2 of them. She says it's to talk family things. I think it's a good sign. Nathan comes home that afternoon and sits across from me at the kitchen table. He folds his hands. He's careful with his words. He always is. But I can see the tension in his shoulders. "Your mother told me you had a breakdown in college. She used the phrase, damaged goods." My stomach drops. She said, "My daughter needs someone who can handle her. Can you really?" I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Because yes, after my father died, I went through a dark stretch my sophomore year. I saw a counselor. I worked through it. It wasn't a secret. But it wasn't ammunition either. My mother had turned it into ammunition. "What did you say?" I whisper. Nathan looks at me steadily. I said, "I don't see damage. I see someone who survived you." Something cracks open in my chest. Not pain, something warmer. "She left after that," he says. "Didn't finish her iced tea." 20 minutes later, my phone rings. Mom. "Nathan disrespected me at lunch. He's isolating you from your family, Vera. That's what men like him do." "Mom, he builds furniture with his hands." "Your father was an accountant. Dad is gone." Silence. Then very quietly, "Don't you dare throw that at me." She hangs up. I sit in the kitchen holding my phone, caught between two versions of the truth. My mother's, where she's protecting me, and the real one, where she's trying to make sure I never leave. The rumors start small. 6 weeks before the wedding, I walk into Patty's hair salon on Main Street. Patty, who's done my hair since I was 14, leans close to the mirror. "Honey, are you okay? Your mama stopped by yesterday, said things aren't going well at home, that Nathan might not be the right fit." The next day at Dale's Market, Mrs. Brewer at the register gives me a look I've never gotten before. Pity. Pure, unfiltered pity. Ridge Hill has a population of 4,000. In a town this size, a rumor doesn't travel. It teleports. Within 48 hours, my mother has seeded every coffee counter and church parking lot with the same story. Vera is fragile. Nathan is a mistake. The wedding shouldn't happen. That Thursday, a text from Rachel. "Don't react to anything your mom does this week. Trust me." I type back, "You're scaring me." 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. Good. Scared means you're paying attention. 5 weeks out, my mother calls Nathan's mother, Gloria. I find out from Nathan, who calls me on Saturday morning, his voice careful. "Mom says Diane called her last night. She told her you have a history of episodes, that you needed psychiatric treatment in college, that she worries about your stability." My hands go cold. "She called you emotionally volatile." Nathan turns to me after hanging up. For the first time, I see something in his eyes that isn't patience. It's clarity. "Your mother is not trying to protect you, Vera. She's trying to own you." I know he's right. I've known for years, maybe. But hearing it out loud in our kitchen on a Saturday morning, with sunlight on the floor, it sounds different. It sounds true. "Don't fight with her over this," I tell him. "That's exactly what she wants." He nods, but his jaw is set. Here is what nobody tells you about weddings. The money disappears before the first dance starts. Nathan and I had saved for 3 years. $18,000, pulled from teacher paychecks and carpentry commissions. Skipped vacations, a used car instead of a new one, every dollar earmarked. Florist, $2,200. Caterer, $4,800. Venue deposit, $3,500. DJ, photographer, rentals, cake. The rest fills in fast. Most vendors have a 30-day cancellation policy. We are now inside that window. I sit at the kitchen table one evening with our budget spreadsheet open. "If we had to walk away right now," I say, "how much do we lose?" Nathan doesn't look up from his sanding. "Most of it." $18,000. 3 years of packing lunch instead of buying it. 3 years of Nathan working weekends. That money was supposed to be our start, a down payment fund, a safety net, a future. And right now, it's sitting in contracts controlled by a woman who thinks my happiness is a threat to hers. I press my palms against my eyes. If I don't do something, I lose the money. I lose face in front of 200 people. I lose your mother's trust. I lower my hands. I lose myself. Nathan puts down the sandpaper. You won't lose me. I know. Then we figure it out. I thought this was the bottom. I was wrong. 7 days before the wedding, a Monday. I'm grading papers during lunch when I decide to call the florist. Magnolia Florals, this is Dawn. Hi, Dawn. It's Vera Westbrook, just checking on our order for Saturday. A pause. Too long. Ma'am, that order was canceled 3 days ago. Your mother called. She said the wedding was off. I hang up. My fingers are shaking. I dial the caterer. Miss Westbrook, yes, we received the cancellation Thursday. Your mother said... I hang up again. I call the venue. I'm sorry, Miss Westbrook. Mrs. Diane Westbrook called and canceled the reservation. She said the family had decided. I don't let her finish. I sit at my desk, staring at my phone, and feel the ground beneath me dissolve. Not crack, dissolve, like sand under a wave. I call my mother. She picks up on the first ring. Mom, you canceled my wedding. I canceled a mistake. That was not your decision. Everything about you is my decision, Vera. Her voice is flat and even. I raised you. I buried your father alone. This wedding is mine to give or take. Something shifts inside me. Not anger, not yet. Something colder. Something that has been sleeping for 28 years and just opened its eyes. No, I say. It isn't. I hang up. My hands are still shaking. But my voice was steady. And that surprises me more than anything my mother just said. I don't remember driving home. I remember the kitchen floor, the cold of the tile through my dress, the way the afternoon light made a rectangle on the wall that moved so slowly it felt like time had thickened. I'm not crying. That's the strange part. Nathan finds me like that when he comes in from the workshop, sawdust on his forearms. He looks at me and doesn't ask what happened. He just sits down next to me on the floor, close enough that our shoulders touch. 10 minutes pass, maybe 15. She canceled everything, I say finally. Every vendor, all of them, 3 days ago. Behind my back. His hand finds mine. His palm is rough and warm. She told me this morning it was hers to give or take. The wedding. Our wedding. Nathan is quiet for a moment. Then, we'll figure this out. 7 days, Nathan. No florist, no caterer, no venue. I know. My mother wants me to fail. The sentence sits in the room like a living thing, the first time I've ever said it out loud. Nathan pulls out his phone. I'm calling Rachel. She listens to the short version. Vendors canceled, Diane responsible, 7 days. Her voice, when she finally speaks, is not the voice of shock. It's the voice of someone who has been waiting. Don't call any vendor. Don't call your mother. I need 48 hours. That same night, after I've fallen into something that isn't quite sleep on the couch, my mother calls Nathan at 10:47 p.m. She had a breakdown in college. Did she tell you the full story? She couldn't get out of bed for 3 weeks. She missed finals. I had to fly up and bring her home. Nathan says nothing. She can't handle stress. She'll fall apart. You'll be the one picking up the pieces. Walk away now. Save yourself. You seem like a decent man. Don't let her ruin your life. He lets her talk. Then he reaches across the counter and taps a button on his phone. Record. Georgia is a one-party consent state. Is that everything, Diane? He says calmly. I'm trying to help you. Noted. He hangs up. He saves the file. He doesn't tell me that night. He can see I'm barely holding together, and one more blow might crack the foundation. The next morning, he drives to Rachel's apartment before work and hands her his phone, the recording queued up. Rachel listens. Her face doesn't change. When it ends, she looks at Nathan and says, "This is exactly what I needed." "What are you planning?" She taps the phone against her palm. "Insurance. The kind your mother-in-law can't cancel." Rachel shows up at our door 5 days before the wedding, carrying a manila folder thick enough to prop open a window. She sits at our kitchen table, the same table where Nathan proposed, where I learned about the cancellations, where every turning point of this year has happened, and opens it. "I need to tell you something. Let me finish before you react." I nod. "The day your mom volunteered to handle the wedding, 6 months ago, I started making backup plans." I stare at her. 6 months? She pulls out a printed contract. Elmwood Garden Estate, a private property 12 minutes from downtown Ridge Hill, owned by a woman named June Whitfield, a friend of Rachel's from event planning. The contract is signed. Rachel's name. Dated 6 months ago. A $2,000 deposit. Rachel's own money. "You spent your own money? You'd do the same for me." I look at the date. 6 months. She started this the same week my mother took over the vendor calls. Rachel saw it coming before I did. Before anyone did. Nathan leans against the counter, arms crossed, staring at Rachel like she just walked through a wall. Rachel flips through the folder like a general briefing a war room. "Florist, Sandy's Blooms out of Carterville. Wildflowers, sunflowers, lavender. Exactly what you originally wanted." She looks at me. I press my hand over my mouth. "Caterer, Big Jim Smokehouse. Pulled pork, cornbread, brisket, sweet tea, mason jars." Nathan lets out a short laugh. The first one I've heard from him in weeks. "DJ is my friend Marcus. Photographer is my coworker Lena. She shoots weddings on the side. Total backup cost, $6,500. I've covered it. You pay me back whenever." I shake my head. "Rachel." She moves on. "Guest list. I pulled the original list you shared with me when you first got engaged, before your mother took over communications. 200 names, phone numbers, emails. I have a separate contact database for every single one." She explains the plan. The morning of the wedding, she'll send a mass text and make personal calls to the 15 most important guests. The message: "Venue has been upgraded. New address. Arrive by 3 p.m. Framed as a surprise." "And my mother?" I ask. Rachel meets my eyes. She gets the original address. Only the original address. The room goes quiet. I also called someone else. Maggie Coulter, WRDGTV. A local interest piece. Best friend saves wedding, a community love story. Maggie doesn't know all the details. She just knows it's a feel-good segment. Rachel reads my face. "Your mother put this on Facebook. She made it public first. This is just the truth catching up." Part of me feels guilty. The other part, the part my mother had been silencing for 28 years, feels something I haven't felt in a long time. Relief. At 6 a.m., I call Rachel. "Let's do it." "You're sure?" "I'm sure." I hang up and make one more call. Uncle Tom, my father's younger brother, retired Army, who keeps his distance from my mother's orbit. Smart man. "Will you walk me down the aisle?" The line goes quiet. I hear him clear his throat. "Your daddy would be so proud, Vera." I press the phone to my chest after we hang up and breathe. Here is what I do not do. I do not call my mother. I do not explain. I do not beg. I do not negotiate. For the first time in 28 years, I choose silence. Not the silence of submission, the silence of someone who has finally decided. 2 days before the wedding, The rehearsal dinner at Gloria Cole's house. Wraparound porch, string lights, about 30 people. Nathan's family, close friends, Uncle Tom, Rachel, fried chicken, potato salad, Gloria's famous sweet potato pie. The mood is warm, nervous, hopeful. My mother was not invited. She comes anyway. Her car door at 7:15 p.m. She walks up the porch steps carrying a bottle of wine and a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Gloria opens the door, startled. "Diane, we weren't expecting—" "I'm the mother of the bride." She steps inside. The living room goes quiet. My mother pours herself a glass from her own bottle, raises it. "I just hope Nathan knows what he's signing up for. I hope this marriage lasts longer than her attention span." The room is a held breath. Gloria stands. Her voice is iron wrapped in velvet. "Diane, that's enough." My mother takes a sip, sets the glass down, looks around at 30 faces staring back at her. "I said what I said." She walks out. The screen door slaps shut. Then Nathan's hand finds mine under the table. He squeezes. I squeeze back. Gloria crosses the room, bends down next to my chair, eyes wet. "I'm sorry I ever doubted you." And then quieter. "You are welcome in this family, Vera. Always." One day before the wedding. I'm at Rachel's apartment when my phone buzzes. A screenshot from my coworker, Jenny. My mother's Facebook account. "Please pray for my daughter. She's rushing into a marriage against medical advice. I've done everything I can. A mother's heart is broken." Against medical advice. There is no doctor who said don't get married. My mother invented a medical crisis and posted it to 800 people in a town where everyone knows everyone's middle name. Rachel takes the phone from my hand, not roughly, like a nurse removing something that's hurting a patient. "Don't respond. Tomorrow, the truth will speak for itself." She puts my phone in a kitchen drawer, makes chamomile tea. We sit on her couch, not talking much, just breathing in the same room. I lie in Rachel's guest bed that night, eyes open, staring at the ceiling fan turning slow circles. Tomorrow will be different. I'm not scared anymore. Something has shifted quietly, like a key turning in a lock. Saturday morning, wedding day, 6 a.m. I wake to the sound of Rachel already on the phone. "Yes, ma'am. Venue upgrade. Surprise for the bride and groom. New address is Elmwood Garden Estate, 412 Whitfield Lane. Arrive by 3 p.m. Don't go to the original address." She's pacing in sweatpants and a headset, a printed spreadsheet in hand. 200 names, each one highlighted in yellow, green, or red. Yellow, mass text sent. Green, confirmed. Red, needs a personal call. By 10 a.m., 197 out of 200 guests have confirmed the new location. 3 can't attend. 1 has a sick child, 2 are traveling. None of it is related to my mother's sabotage. 1 person is not on the contact list at all. Diane Westbrook receives no text, no call, no new address. As far as she knows, the wedding is at the original venue, the one she canceled, the empty lot. At noon, I put on my dress in Rachel's bedroom. Ivory, tea-length, lace sleeves. I bought it at a consignment shop in Atlanta for $60. My mother called it secondhand embarrassment. I call it mine. Uncle Tom arrives at 1:30. He's wearing a gray suit, polished shoes, eyes already red. He sees me and stops in the doorway. "Lord, Vera, you look like your daddy on his wedding day. Stubborn and beautiful." Rachel checks her watch. "Ready?" I smooth my dress. I take a breath. I've been ready for 28 years. Elmwood Garden Estate sits at the end of a gravel lane lined with pecan trees. A white wooden gate open wide. Beyond it, a rolling lawn edged with wildflower beds, sunflowers, lavender, baby's breath. The flowers I chose. The flowers my mother erased. Rachel brought them back. Fairy lights strung between two ancient live oaks, swaying just enough to make the light shimmer. Wooden chairs line a center aisle, chairs Nathan built himself over the last year, one every weekend, stacked in his workshop where I thought he was just staying busy. He was building our wedding without me knowing. The BBQ pit is already going. Big Jim himself tends the smoker. Pulled pork, cornbread, sweet tea, mason jars. Just like I dreamed. Guests start arriving at 2:30. Almost every one of them stops at the gate. Some press their hands to their chests. Some laugh. Mrs. Henderson whispers to her husband, "This is better than the original." Gloria Cole walks in, sees the wildflowers, sees the hand-built chairs, sees the fairy lights catching the Georgia afternoon sun. She finds me near the garden trellis and wraps her arms around me. "This is what your wedding was always supposed to look like." Maggie Coulter from WRDG-TV arrives quietly with her cameraman. They set up off to the side, unobtrusive, professional. 200 chairs, 197 guests. The only person missing is the one who tried to make sure none of this would exist. 3 p.m. The afternoon light turns gold. Uncle Tom takes my arm. His grip is firm, military firm, but his hand is trembling. "Slow steps," he murmurs. "Make it count." The music starts. Not a grand orchestral piece, just a guitar. Rachel's friend Caleb sitting on a stool under the live oak, playing a finger-picked version of the song Nathan and I danced to on our first date, in his workshop, sawdust still on the floor. I step forward. 200 faces turn, some smiling, some already crying. Nathan stands at the end of the aisle, hands clasped, eyes red. He's not hiding it. He never hides anything from me. Uncle Tom delivers me to Nathan, shakes his hand. "Take care of her, or answer to me." Nathan nods. "Yes, sir." The officiant keeps it simple. Short readings, then the vows. Nathan goes first. His voice breaks once, on the word home. My turn. I don't read from a card. I look at him and say what I've been holding for months. I choose you, not because I need to be saved, but because I finally know I deserve to be loved without conditions. I don't need permission to be happy, not from anyone, not anymore. The garden goes quiet, even the birds. Nathan's hand finds mine. The officiant pronounces us married. We kiss under the live oaks and the fairy lights sway. 197 people rise to their feet, and somewhere, 12 minutes away, an empty lot waits in silence. I learned the details later, pieced together from Uncle Tom and from Maggie Coulter's footage. My mother drives to the original venue at 2:45. She parks her silver sedan, the one she always keeps spotless because appearances matter, and steps out in a navy blue dress and pearl earrings. She's not dressed for grief. She's dressed for victory. She walks toward the lot. It's empty. No tent, no chairs, no flowers, no caterer. In her mind, the story ends here, with Vera humiliated, crawling back, needing Mama again. Then she looks around. No cars, no guests arriving, no one at all. The smile fades. She pulls out her phone and calls me. 5 rings, voicemail. She calls Rachel, voicemail. Gloria Cole, voicemail. Nathan's cousin Danny, voicemail. 7 calls, 8, 9. Not a single answer. She stands in the middle of that empty lot, phone pressed to her ear, turning in a slow circle. The sun is hot, the cicadas are loud, and she is completely, utterly alone. Then she calls a distant cousin of Nathan's, Bev, 74, hard of hearing, who probably didn't understand the "Don't tell Diane" memo. "Oh, Diane, didn't you get the message? Wedding's at Elmwood Garden now. Pretty place out on Whitfield Lane." My mother hangs up without saying goodbye. 25 minutes later, her silver sedan crunches up the gravel lane. She sees the white gate, the fairy lights through the trees. She hears the music, the laughter, the clinking of glasses, the smoky sweetness of barbecue drifting through the Georgia air. She parks. She walks to the gate. Her heels sink slightly into the gravel. A man is standing at the entrance. Kyle, Rachel's friend, 6'2", calm-faced, holding a clipboard. He's been briefed. "Good afternoon, ma'am. May I see your invitation?" My mother straightens. "I'm the mother of the bride." Kyle looks down at his list, scans it, looks up. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Your name isn't on the guest list." Her mouth opens, then closes. "There must be a mistake." "No mistake, ma'am. I've checked twice." Through the gate, she can see the chairs, the wildflowers, the mason jars, the guests laughing. She can see the back of my dress. She can see Nathan's arm around my waist. Everything she tried to destroy is right there, alive and whole and glowing. And there is a gate between her and it, and a man with a clipboard, and her name nowhere on the list. She doesn't leave quietly. Her voice rises, first measured, then sharp, then raw. "This is my daughter's wedding. I am her mother." Kyle keeps his hands clasped, his expression neutral. "Ma'am, I understand, but I'm not authorized. I gave birth to her." Several guests near the gate turn their heads. Nathan's Aunt Margaret whispers something to the person beside her. Then my mother sees the camera. Maggie Coulter and her cameraman have moved toward the gate. The red light is on. My mother freezes. The tears, the ones she can summon on command, stop. She looks at the lens the way a deer looks at headlights, for one long second. Just a woman in a navy dress who bet everything on control and lost. She turns around, walks to her car, gets in, drives away. She doesn't look back. Inside the garden, I'm dancing. Rachel stands near the dessert table watching the gate. She sees the silver sedan disappear down the gravel road. She picks up her glass of sweet tea, takes a sip, and walks back to the dance floor. No triumph, no gloating, just peace. "She came," Rachel tells me later. "She left. You didn't miss anything." The rest of the evening is the kind of ordinary I've been starving for. Paper plates loaded with pulled pork, sweet tea refilled 3 times, Nathan's 7-year-old nephew, Brady, chasing fireflies across the lawn. We cut the cake, 2 tiers, buttercream frosting, a small cluster of wildflowers on top, with 2 tiny wooden figures Nathan carved and placed on top. He thought I didn't notice the wood shavings on his workbench. I noticed. Gloria stands to speak. She's not a woman who enjoys public attention. So when she clears her throat and the garden goes quiet, it means something. I'm not a speech person, but I want to say this. Welcome to the family, Vera. For real this time. A few people laugh, a few people cry. I do both. Uncle Tom goes next. His voice wavers. My brother always said Vera would find her way. He pauses, swallows. He was right. The applause is gentle, not a roar, just a warm, even sound, like rain on a porch roof. For the first time in my life, a celebration isn't being held hostage. Later that night, after the last guest has gone and the fairy lights are still blinking softly in the empty garden, Nathan and I sit on the porch steps at our house. Shoes off, his tie loose. The night air smells like jasmine and leftover smoke. "There's something I need to show you," he says. He pulls out his phone and opens an audio file, dated 6 days ago, 10:47 p.m. My mother's voice fills the dark porch. "She had a breakdown in college. Did she tell you the full story? She can't handle stress. She'll fall apart. Walk away now. Save yourself." The recording ends. The cicadas take over. "I'm not damaged," I say. "I never was." Nathan doesn't argue. He just waits. "I want to send this to Maggie Coulter." He looks at me. "Are you sure?" "My mother put it on Facebook first. She told 800 people I was mentally ill. She told the whole town my marriage was a mistake." I fold my hands. "I'm not putting her on blast. I'm just letting people hear her real voice." "And the vendor cancellations, the emails, the voicemails where she pretended to be you, Rachel has all of those." Nathan nods. "This isn't revenge," I say, as much to myself as to him. "This is just the truth, without her editing it." He puts his arm around me. The porch light flickers. "I'm not doing this to hurt her. I'm doing this so she can never rewrite the story." The next morning, Sunday, I sit at the kitchen table with a blank sheet of paper and a pen. Not an email, not a text, a letter, handwritten, because some things should cost effort. I write 3 drafts before I get it right. The first is too angry. The second is too kind. The third is honest. "Mom, I love you. I need you to know that first, because the rest of this letter will be hard to read. You canceled my wedding. You told my fiancé I was damaged goods. You told the town I was mentally ill. You told his mother I was unstable. You came to my workplace and implied I was having a breakdown in front of my colleagues. You posted on Facebook that I was marrying against medical advice. That was a lie. I don't hate you for any of this, but I can't pretend it didn't happen. I think you're afraid. I think you've been afraid since Dad died. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of losing control. Afraid that if I build my own life, there won't be room for you in it. There is room. There will always be room, but not like this. I need distance. I don't know for how long. When you're ready to talk, really talk, without guilt, without tears used as weapons, without trying to control the conversation, I'll be here. But the door opens from my side now, not yours. I love you, Mom, but love without boundaries isn't love. It's captivity. Vera. I fold the letter. I put it in an envelope and write Diane Westbrook on the front. I drive to Uncle Tom's house and hand it to him. He reads it standing in his doorway. When he finishes, he folds it carefully. Your father would have written the same thing. He delivers it that afternoon. I don't ask how she reacted. I'm not ready to know. 1 week after the wedding, Maggie Coulter's segment airs on WRDG-TV. 4.5 minutes during the 6 o'clock news. Maid of honor saves best friend's wedding after family sabotage. A Ridge Hill love story. Maggie keeps it tasteful. She doesn't name my mother. She says a family member canceled all wedding vendors 1 week before the ceremony. She shows footage of the garden, the wildflowers, the fairy lights, Nathan and me dancing. She interviews Rachel, who says simply, "When someone you love is in trouble, you don't wait for permission to help." She doesn't need to name Diane. In a town of 4,000, subtraction is identification. Within 3 days, the ripples reach me. My mother's Facebook post, the one about medical advice, gets screenshot shared across half the town before she can delete it. People place it side by side with Maggie's report. The Ridge Hill Women's Auxiliary, where Diane has held a board seat for 6 years, sends her a polite email. "We think it's best if you take a leave of absence while things settle down." Neighbors stop waving from driveways. Invitations to Sunday potluck stop arriving. My mother's currency in Ridge Hill was always reputation. The devoted widow, the sacrificing mother, the woman who held it all together. That currency is now worthless. 3 months later, our house is small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a porch that needs repainting. Nathan says he'll get to it in spring. I believe him. The man finishes everything he starts. I go back to teaching. Mrs. Daniels, the teacher who whispered, "Don't let her win," in the hallway, starts leaving a cupcake on my desk every Friday. She never says why. I never ask. Gloria Cole and I have dinner together every other Sunday. She's teaching me to make peach cobbler from a handwritten recipe card so old the ink is fading. Last Sunday, she handed me the original card. "It's yours now," she said. "Family recipe goes to family." I haven't spoken to my mother directly. Uncle Tom is the bridge. He tells me she started seeing a therapist, went twice, quit, went back, quit again, then went back a third time. "She's trying," Tom says on the phone one evening. "Slowly." "Slowly is fine," I tell him. "I'm not going anywhere." I mean it. The door I described in my letter is still there. I check on it sometimes in my mind, the way you check on a plant you're not sure will survive the winter. I don't need my mother to be perfect. I just need her to stop pretending I'm broken. That's the minimum. And for the first time, I'm not afraid to hold it. 6 months after the wedding, I come home from school on a Tuesday afternoon. There's a piece of mail on the porch, not in the mailbox, on the porch, hand-delivered. A cream-colored envelope with no return address, my name written in handwriting I'd recognize in the dark. No letter inside, no words, just a single pressed wildflower. A black-eyed Susan, flattened and dried between 2 sheets of wax paper. I hold it for a long time. A wildflower, the flower I chose for my wedding, the flower my mother replaced with white roses, the flower Rachel brought back. I don't know if it's an apology. I don't know if it's a goodbye. I don't know if she pressed it from her own garden or picked it from the roadside ditch out on Route 12 where black-eyed Susans grow wild every summer. I don't call her. I'm not ready. Maybe she's not ready either. I carry the flower inside and place it on the bookshelf, leaning against our wedding photo. Nathan and me under the live oaks, fairy lights in the background, wildflowers everywhere. My mother didn't say anything. And maybe that's the kindest thing she's done in years. Nathan comes in from the workshop, sawdust on his forearms. He sees me standing at the bookshelf. "You okay?" I turn around. "I'm good." Through the kitchen window, the late afternoon sun pours across the backyard. I can hear the rhythm of Nathan's table saw starting up again, the neighbor's dog barking, a mockingbird somewhere in the pecan tree. My name is Vera Westbrook Cole. I'm 29 now, and for the first time, my life is mine.